Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. This is the podcast for coaches, speakers, trainers who want to grow their businesses while making an impact in the world. And my name is Simone Vincenzi. I'm your host, and we come live to you a few times a week with different episodes. Sometimes we have a behind the scene of some of the things that we do here at GTeX that are working to help us grow our business and our community. Sometimes we have clients interviews and case study interviews, so you can see actually the work that we're doing and how our clients are growing their business and learn from them. And other times like today, we have incredible experts coming in to share with you what works in their business and how you can grow your coaching and speaking and expert business too. So if you're new to the show, make sure that you subscribe so then you don't miss any other episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And if you're watching this on different podcasting platform, whatever is your favorite, then make sure you subscribe. Before I introduce my guest for today, I just want to let you know one of the resources that we have prepared for you, because as you know, as an expert in your field, one of the most difficult thing to do is actually getting known in your industry and standing out from the crowd. You can be the best in what you do, but if no one knows about you, if no one knows about who you are, what you do, what you stand for, what you can offer to them, then guess what? They're going to buy from someone else. And that's the reality. So it is important, it is your duty to stand out from the crowd and become influential in your field. And one of the best ways, we are running a podcast here, is actually being interviewed on podcasts, being interviewed on publication, tapping into other people's audiences, because they've already built those audiences. And then you can be exposed to them to then build your own one, build your authority and build your credibility. The more influential the platform, the more also credible you will become. And so what we have created is a database with more than 700 podcast publications that you can reach out to help you get known in your field. It's called the Ultimate Publicity Bundle. So make sure you check it out. The link is in the show notes, or if you want to check it out straight away, you can go at gtex.events/publicity-bundle. So it's gtex.events/publicity-bundle. Check it out and let me know how you like it, because it's going to be an incredible resource for you to help you get known, get paid, and make an impact. Now, it is time to introduce our guest today. And expert entrepreneurs hire him to build 7-figure businesses, because most of them are sick of inconsistent cash flow and they don't stand out from their competitors. So he helps them to become an authority and sell high-ticket offers. The bottom line is that he guarantees his clients double their income and their free time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Timon Vinke. Timon, how are you doing today?
Hi, Simone. Yeah, I'm doing great. And thank you for having me on the show. Love to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you here. We connected because we are part of the same mastermind, the Getting Together mastermind. We are talking about running mastermind groups today and running 6-figure mastermind groups, the importance of a mastermind, why you should be part of one, how to run your one effectively. So there is going to be a lot of talks around mastermind. But before we talk about it, I'm curious. You told me that you're actually living in Tenerife now. And for people that don't know Tenerife, can you tell us where it is, why did you move there, and what you love so much about Tenerife?
That's a lot. So Tenerife is a part of Spain, but it's an island off the coast of West Africa, so off the coast of Morocco. So it's quite part south of the mainland of Spain. I'm Dutch originally from the Netherlands, and the reason why we moved here is actually, it's a bit longer story. Before we moved to Tenerife, we were actually living in India. I was working there and living with my wife at the time. And so basically after a few years, we had to make a decision. Are we going to move back to the Netherlands? Do I find a new job, start my own business? A lot of choices to make. So we said, okay, if we put everything on the table, what would be our ideal outcome, basically? And we said, okay, we took a map and said, okay, where we decide we don't want to go back to the Netherlands. So we took a map and said, okay, where would we like to live? We didn't like India. Part of that is all the visa and travel issues. So we wanted to live in Europe. But we also wanted a better climate. So we quickly settled on an island. And then basically Tenerife came at the top because it's the biggest island with the biggest local economy. So the most international flights, the most businesses, etc. So it was also the ideal location to start my own business as well. So that's a little bit how that
and
went
what
about.
do you love the most about Tenerife?
Well, I love the most. Well, the weather is a big thing about it, but it's also the culture of the people. I'm still getting used to that, but the lean back way of living, I'm still trying to get rid of my Dutch kind of cultural upbringing.
Are you taking a siesta? Or
I used to do it sometimes, but not. I currently can't do it because I'm too busy with my business. But yeah, sometime I might reinstate that again.
reinstate the siesta time. I have beautiful memories about Tenerife. I went there with my brother on holiday, and we decided to take, one of these package holidays. And I remember we decided to go there, like we found one of these package holiday. It was like one of these cheap packages on going in a 4-star. It was like a 4-star hotel and flight for a week, about like 250 quid a person. It was insane. So we decided to take it. And I remember that they went with this company, which is called Jet2 Holidays, which is, I'm not sponsoring on this show for clarity. But the plane was the worst plane I've ever been on. So when we arrived there, it was fine. Like we had a great holiday. But the plane, it felt like being on a bicycle. Like the seats were pure plastic. There was no padding. I'm like, where the hell I am now? I prayed that I could arrive sound and safe. So that is,
and it's still like 4 or 5 hour flight, so it was not like
exactly. It's like from London, it's there for 5 hours flight. It's not something that in a couple of hours you're done. So you could feel every single bump on your ass. And that's why I joke with my wife. We call it the bicicletta, which in Italian bicicletta means bicycle. And that's that's a memory that I have. But when I went there, it was beautiful, incredible island, a lot of volcanoes. We went to see some of the volcanoes. They were there, and being on the beach, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend anybody to come visit you.
Yeah, exactly. So Tenerife, that's where the fun is at. Now let's talk about how did you end up running masterminds and being passionate about this topic? Like what passionate about you about it?
So actually, the last part of my career, I was mostly was a general manager, managing a team and growing the business of someone else, basically. Before I started and quit and started my own business, and although I had quite a lot of experience managing a team and being responsible P&L, when you actually own the business that you're trying to run, it still is, at least for me, it was emotionally, you're involved differently. So the stakes were higher, basically. You wanted to succeed. So I think and at that time I didn't call the mastermind, but I quickly looked out for other people to help and get insights and get ideas and get their input on how I could go about growing my business, etc. So it's only later on, about 2-3 years later, that I really came across the official named mastermind and the organized fashion of those, and I was really blown away by if you're in good mastermind, and we can talk a bit later about what was the difference between good and bad, but if you're in a good mastermind, the amount of value that you get from other people, and in terms of ideas, in terms of inspiration and motivation to keep going, and to keep on figuring out how to grow your business, that has added tremendous value. And so I liked Masterminds as a participant, and then about 1.5 years back, I joined Get It Together, which you briefly mentioned, and that's when I actually started selling and running masterminds myself as well.
And so, what So for someone that has not been on a mastermind before, because I know a lot of people that are listening here, and a lot of our viewers, they might already been on a mastermind before, but for the people that don't have the awareness of what is a mastermind, how does it work, let's start from the basics, and then we will build up on it, on how to run them and how to fill them up and so on. So let's start from the from the basic.
Yeah, sure. Good plan. Yeah, so basically the way, and again, it's a vague definition. So a lot of people are calling different things a mastermind. The way I look at it is a true mastermind is where the participants in the group are collaborating and helping other members in the group to whatever problem or challenge they have at the time. That means that it's led by someone that we call a facilitator. So he facilitates the meeting, he has an agenda, he makes sure that everybody gets their turn or gets their moment to share as well. But in the end, the actual content or the actual ideas or the brainstorming is done by the participants themselves. I think that's so. In a nutshell, what a mastermind is basically a regular meeting that you have with a group of people that over time, typically it's a fixed group. So over time you get to know them, you get to know if it's a business mastermind, you get to know their business. And then every meeting you help each other out by brainstorming solutions to challenges or problem they have at that time.
Yeah, I remember actually I think the very first program that I joined was a mastermind, and it was also the first product that we offered. When we started our event company and running our events when we were 23 years old, and there wasn't much that we knew about business. There wasn't much that we knew about personal development. So what we created with our events was a platform where people would come together. So we were hosting the event. We weren't the experts speaking. We were hosting the event. We invited experts. And then after about 20 events or so, we said, you know what? Now we are building some traction. How can we monetize it? And neither me or my business partner had an idea about what we could provide to people. And my business partner was actually part of a mastermind. I said, why don't we put out a mastermind? What we are good at is bringing people together and facilitating a space. That's what we're good at. We got the skills to do that. We might not have all the answers or to be trainers, but we had that experience. And that's how GTeX was born. I remember the first time we launched our mastermind, we sold, we said to people, you get lifetime access to the mastermind. It was like £120, which is about like $150, or like you get lifetime access to all our future mastermind. We still have people that 9 years ago when they bought it, they're still attending now.
Okay, that's an amazing deal for them.
10 grand, 20 grand. So they got a great deal, but that's how GTeX started. And the first time I remember that we made, I think we had 5 or 6 people joining. We made about £800 in one night. And we were like, this shit works. We can actually monetize. And that was the first time that we got actually running a mastermind, got us the belief that we could actually run this company. So
yeah. Oh, that's great. That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's great. You started out with
I completely forgot about it. I actually completely forgot about it. It was this conversation that reminded me. So let's talk about, you mentioned what a mastermind is, and what are the benefits for someone joining the mastermind or having their own mastermind? Let's talk about from the two perspectives.
Yeah, so let's start with why it's so valuable from a client perspective. So being part of a mastermind, I think a lot of times it has to do with I mentioned already two things. It's about the ideas that you actually get for solving the problems and challenges that you have, and so if you're in a group with like-minded people that have, so that's one of the things that I think a mastermind needs to have a certain topic or an area where it's focused on. So you can have all kinds of different masterminds, but because I'm running a business mastermind, so for now let's focus on business masterminds, but it can be around any topic that you come up with, basically. But you do want to have a topic so that everybody knows, okay, this is what we're going to talk about, and these the challenges and the problems that I'm going to bring into the group are actually related to that topic that you're talking about. So a part of the value is that you actually get ideas and solutions for the challenges that you have. And if you have a group of, so typically you have masterminds, you can have very small ones from 4 or 5 people, but we typically run them up to 12. They can be bigger, but then it becomes more challenging to facilitate. But basically, so now you have this shared knowledge and shared wisdom of the people in the group that can help you overcome these challenges and problems that you're facing. And the great thing about a mastermind, it doesn't have a fixed structure. So it's like, if you compare it against a coaching program, if you have a challenge in your business that doesn't necessarily fit the coaching program, then you're left wondering, or you have to find someone else, or you have to go outside. But in a mastermind, as long as it's related to the topic, you can bring any problem that you have to the group. Now, another thing is that I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of knowledge that are in their peers. So they all look at the guru or the trainer, or like, oh, they have all the answers and they know everything. Well, typically they don't have all the answers, or they don't know everything, and they might know a lot more about certain topics, but it doesn't necessarily mean they know more about everything. But if you talk about with peers that are in the group, you actually get you get access to a lot more knowledge. So that's one big benefit, that shared knowledge that you get access to, and the other one is the motivation and support. So, like I said, typically, if you're in a mastermind longer, you get to know each other, you get to know their businesses, they get to know you and your businesses. So, whenever you feel down because the sale didn't go through, or whatever might be the case, we all have ups and downs in our businesses. But if you're in a down moment, it's always good to have a kind of a support group that says, "Hey, of course, we all have experienced it. It will pass, and you will get through this." And basically, we had some in our mastermind sessions. We had people basically brought to tears, but by the amount of support they were getting from other members in the group. Because they really felt that they were in a safe space where they could share really what troubled them, and really what the root cause of the challenges were. And if you then have a group of people saying, "Hey, we got you. We're here to support you. We're here to help you," that's such a tremendous supporting force. That's the second part why you would join the mastermind.
I love what you shared. In particular around how much we underestimate sometimes the knowledge that we have. And also, I think that being part of a mastermind get us to feel more valuable, because sometimes we underestimate the knowledge that we have. And then when you're part of a mastermind, I don't know that ever happened to you, but I was like, oh, actually, I can help others. There is a confidence that builds with that. And on top of having that place where you don't feel on your own, when you can feel that other people that have similar challenges, and now you can help and support each other and create that tied group. I'm a big fan of masterminds. I'm always part of masterminds. My wife is part of masterminds. And can you expand on the actually the relationships that you build? Because some people underestimate sometimes when they've not been part of a mastermind, the after effect of the mastermind and the impact that the mastermind has also in other areas of their life, even if the mastermind is on a specific topic.
So actually, I think that's a great question, because like I said, you're really starting to build relationship and with the people in the group. And that often extends beyond the mastermind itself. So, for example, our clients, but ourselves as well, you start reaching out to each other outside, you start helping to support each other outside of the mastermind itself. But it can even lead to joint ventures or new businesses being formed. So when it's still related to business, and so the potential long-term results of being in a mastermind is really, it can be quite amazing.
Do you have an example or a story that stood out for you, either personally, that something that happened to you when you're part of a mastermind, that when you like some relationships you built, or something that happened in the masterminds that you were leading?
So a personal experience is that from a mastermind, I met a joint venture partner I have me now, and of course, we actually formed a new business together, and we got to know each other through a mastermind, and. Yeah. And basically the great thing about it is that because you know that person or you get to know each other better and better, you're also better able to judge if it's a very good match in terms of skills, ambition, and goals and ambition. So I think in that sense, if you're open to doing that kind of deals and that kind of structures for your business, then it's a very kind of leveraged way to find people that fit you, and you can very quickly see, hey, I really have a nice click with that person. I have a good fit, skills wise, it's a match. So that's how we ended up in the joint venture. Another example from clients is also we had two clients that came in separately. They already knew each other, but they weren't working together. So they joined the mastermind, and over time, their business relationship also evolved. So in the end, one of them became the partner and CEO in the business of the other. So they basically merged their businesses, and then they created two separate offers within their business, and each one of them could form part of that, really had that part of the business, basically.
It is incredibly powerful in terms of the relationship that we had, and a lot to share actually on while we are talking about this topic. Something that happened as part of the mastermind that we are part of, and my accountability partner in the Strategic Alliance Mastermind, before we moved to the $1 Million Strategic Alliance Mastermind, was Myrna. And now, even if she's not part anymore of the mastermind, we kept in touch. Like, we kept having our accountability calls every couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Keep having them because we're into a good rhythm. And there were two big breakthroughs that Myrna gave me on outside business. One is that I never knew that I had ADHD. And we're talking with Myrna, she has ADHD, and she was mentioning things like, this happened to you? Does this happen to you? Does this happen to you? And I'm like, yeah, like, you might want to check yourself out for this, because she actually lived their entire life with it. And so for me, it was about understanding, how can if my brain functions in a particular way, how can I actually work and give myself what I need so I can be even more effective and use what the positive part of ADHD, rather than beating myself up for the negative ones. And so that was one. And the other one is that during the summer, I had like quite a bit depression, and I went down on a slump for personal reasons, and it was a very tough moment. And she was there. We're having our calls, and she was there for me. We're talking things through, and she said a few things that I put in place, and they made me feel better straight away. So the relationship that you build, sometimes it will result on joint ventures, partnership, and other times it will result on strong friendships that you're going to have with you for the rest of their life, and people are going to help you and support you into things that you might not even realize. So I have a question now for you around the monetization part of the mastermind. So now let's think about someone is listening here. It's like, okay, I would love to run my own mastermind. What are some of the things? Actually, there are two things I want to ask you. One is, before we talk about the monetization, is the size, because you mentioned you mentioned some numbers like 8 to 12, but then you can have it bigger, but then there are too many. So what's from your experience, a good number to have in the mastermind, and why? And then let's talk about the monetization strategy and how you can monetize and run your own mastermind.
Okay, so with the numbers, we run our mastermind groups between 4 to 12 members. So the goal is always 12 members, but as soon as we have 4 people together, for if we were forming a new group, as soon as we have 4 people together, that's when we actually create a group and start going, basically. Any less than that, it's no longer masterminding. It's basically almost like one-on-one coaching or one-on-one interaction between the participants. I mean, if you're the facilitator and you have 2 other people in the room, it's like they're only helping each other. There's no group brainstorming, because I think a big part of it is that of brainstorming, you start building on each other's ideas. So one comes up with A, another comes with B, and that makes another person come up with C because he was prompted by the other ideas that were generated. So you want to have at least 4. And then we go up to 12. And the reason for that is that if the group's too big, then not every person gets to share, because you already naturally have people that are shying back. So you, as a facilitator, you already have to say, hey, Simone, can you also shed some light on this topic? And I'm not saying that you are that person, but there are people that are just not readily going to contribute if they're so although they might have very valuable insights to share. So if the group gets too big, as a facilitator, it just becomes too difficult to give everybody basically a chance to share and also to receive insights.
So the size becomes like 4 to 12. That's enough for getting conversation going, to get different perspective, but not too big. So then there's some people that just like fell in, in the forgotten crowd. And okay, so let's talk now about the monetization part. Like, if someone wants to run their own mastermind, what are some of the things that they need to be aware of?
Well, it might surprise you, but we don't advise our clients to charge $180 or $150 lifetime access.
No way, right? Because it's slightly more valuable than that.
For sure. And that's why I was thinking how to put this, because basically we say it's high ticket mastermind. That's how we sell it. Typically we do combine it with some other services, so it's not like purely 100% only mastermind and nothing else. So that's why you can't put I can't put a direct price on how much we charge for the mastermind. We could charge a price for a program. But the mastermind, I would definitely, basically the higher you charge, the more serious participants you get, the more committed they are, the more. So if you charge very little, you get people that are not committed to the mastermind, to the other people that are in the mastermind. So you never really build that intimate relationship in the group. Yeah. That's my experience. So you actually do a benefit to your clients by charging more, because now there is a higher threshold for entry, which makes sure that the people that do enter are really quality people. And it's my experience, the more you charge, the more amazing people actually show up. It's like, and not only in terms of what the kind of knowledge or whatever their experiences, but also their mentality, the way that they look at again, I'm purely talking from a business mastermind, but the kind of win-win attitude, the kind of let's help each other out succeed kind of mentality, that's really what you need in the participants of a mastermind. So even if you're not running about business mastermind, but outside, I would still recommend at least, I would say at least $5,000, and then you can talk a little bit about how to structure that. But that's definitely where I would start.
Why, before we move on, why do you think that the price will attract? Because I got my ideas. I would love to hear from you. Why do you think that the price attracts more committed people? Can someone be committed paying, £150 for lifetime? Why do you think so?
I think it works two ways. So the first is they become more critical about the mastermind. You don't pay $5,000 or more just because you really want to know what you're getting into, who are the people. So the clients are a little bit more critical about the mastermind and the people that are maybe already in a mastermind, or the person that's facilitating it. So they are, which means that if they do say yes, they strongly believe in that mastermind, in that group, in that facilitator. So that's kind of a more of an emotional kind of relationship already there.
Yeah.
And I think the second is that because you charge higher, they also know you have charged higher to other people. So let's say if I am open to paying $5,000 for a mastermind, but I see a mastermind there charging $100, My immediate knee-jerk reaction is like, well, what kind of people will be in that mastermind if they're not willing to invest 5,000? So the price point itself already communicates to your ideal clients, the really serious people, that there are other really serious people in that group, and not just some flakes and that just want to be there to have some fun, but they really want to help each other but also gain themselves and make progress in their life and in the business.
Thank you for sharing that, because there are some people that I'm sure they're listening and they say, no, but I want to make it accessible. I want to support others. I want to make sure if we are making it cheaper, more people can join. Yes, it's true. And also it's true the fact that, some people will actually like the price and makes it more exclusive, which means you're attracting now someone that is absolutely invested in it. Because people, if people pay, they pay attention. And so they will pay, and then they will make it a priority compared to something that they might put in the background and say, you know what, because to make sure that the mastermind runs correctly, as you mentioned, Timon, you need to have the full commitment from people. If someone are not showing up to sessions and then they make excuses, they don't know what they're going to say they were going to do, and so on. Now it ruins the entire environment of the group, because it's a closed group. So every member, as an important and crucial piece of the puzzle. So you actually want to make sure that the right members come into the mastermind. Is there something else around the monetization part of it that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, not really. I think I think the one other comment I hear a lot from people is that, well, I can't charge that much because I don't have the authority yet, or I don't know how to position myself yet.
Yeah, that's what when I started my own one. That's exactly my thought.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
And that's actually and that's why that's another reason why I think every coach should have a mastermind, because you're the facilitator, so you don't have to pretend like you know everything, because you're actually saying, well, hey, you pay 5,000, but the other members also paid 5,000. They are really serious business owners or whatever they might be, and they are actually sharing their knowledge and skills. I'm just a facilitator, so you don't have to look at me for all the answers and the questions. And so a good example of that is that there are also CEO masterminds all over the world.
Sure.
But you can bet they're not being run by CEOs of big companies. They're just being facilitated by another business, by a facilitator which has never had a CEO position in his or her life, but they're still facilitating that CEO mastermind because they're just doing, it's still an important job, but they are facilitating. They don't have all the knowledge. It's the participants that bring in the knowledge.
So the most important skill that you need to have is not to have the answers, but to be able to facilitate and manage the conversation.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And manage the table. That's basically the most important skills that you're paid for.
Yeah. So it's the facilitating the meeting itself and the value that you create by bringing the group together.
Yeah. And it's incredible value. And for everyone that have already experienced a mastermind, like if you have not experienced one, I would recommend to sign up to one. If you have already experienced one and you're thinking about creating your own mastermind, becomes an important part of your offer. And, as Timon said, he does it as a part of a bigger program that he does. So it's actually not just a mastermind on its own, but it's attached to a course or a program that he runs, and that there is the other element. So Timon, this has been an incredible conversation. We have never talked about mastermind in the history of the show, and it got me back to my origin, how we sold our very first product, which is I haven't thought about it for a long time, so it's good to go back to the beginning. If someone wants to learn more about running mastermind, maybe join your mastermind or creating their own, I know you have some resources for them. What is the best way to reach out to you, and what do you have?
So they can find me personally on LinkedIn. So that's just linkedin.com/Timon Vinke. They can also visit our website, getittogether.com. But we're actually hosting we have a masterclass all about this topic. So how to fill and run your mastermind. So people are happy to visit that one and watch that one. So that's a 3-hour deep dive training on how to fill it, how to run it, and also the typical reasons why people fail at starting up their own mastermind. So that's
love it. So masterclass, deep dive masterclass around running your mastermind and creating your own, filling it out, how you run it. And I can tell you, I've been known Timon for a while, so he knows what he's doing. He's run masterminds, and what he's going to share with you is going to put a lot of light, in particular if you're not running a mastermind before, or maybe you're running one and you want to learn how to run it better. Just because sometimes you do the thing one way doesn't mean that it's not the only way. There is always something that we can learn and improve. So highly recommend you to sign up to the masterclass. The link is in the show notes. So make sure you check it out either in the comments or the show notes, and then register for the masterclass of running mastermind. Timon, if we were to wrap up this conversation with the final thoughts, what would your final thoughts be about the conversation that we had today?
Yeah, I think in general, just for all your listeners, if you're not in a mastermind, join one, whether it's Simone's, ours, or another one, but find like-minded people to be in a group. And if you're a coach or a trainer, at least give it some serious thought about whether you should do a mastermind. It's my opinion you should, but of course you need to make a decision on your own.
All right, that's brilliant. So mastermind, really powerful. Timon, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me, and yeah, love to talk about it with you and everybody else.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, or thank you for watching. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you have not subscribed yet and you enjoyed the interview, then make sure you subscribe to the show, and also let us know, leave us a review. Let us know how we did. Reviews are a crucial part of the show, in particular if you're on Apple Podcast, or Spotify. So let us know with the review. Let us know what you enjoyed it, and it will really appreciate it, because it's going to help us grow the show. It's going to help us as well attract other incredible guests like Timon that we had today. So review and subscribe. Having said that, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. And until then, always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.